going to start Chapter 6, which is on transformations. Today we did a lab that talked about 3 different types of transformations. And the first lesson in Chapter 6 is on one of them, translations. So let's talk a little bit about translations. A transformation is an operation that maps an original geometric figure onto a new figure. Now, the first image, or the original image, is called the pre-image. Pre means before, so it's the figure we have before. That's our original image. When we make our new one after a transformation, that's called the image. That's the new one, okay? And a translation slides a figure from one position to another without turning it, okay? So take what you've learned from the lab today, and I want you to do this vocabulary startup. I want you to define translation in your own words, list 3 characteristics of a translation, draw an example, and then draw an example that is not a translation. So take a few minutes, pause the video, and fill in your vocab startup. Okay, so if we define in our own words, it's a slide. Make sure that you have the word slide, because to help you remember, a translation has an SL in it. See right here where it says translation has an SL? So does slide, okay? A slide has an SL. So if you can remember translation and slide, that's perfect, okay? 3 characteristics. It stays the same shape, it stays the same size, and it faces the same way. The position doesn't change. The orientation doesn't change, okay? So those are your 3 characteristics. Stays the same shape, same size, and faces the same way. Your example, as long as it's a slide and it's facing the same way, you're okay. Here would be a non-example, or a counter-example. See how it slid, but the shape turned the wrong way? It's not facing the same way, so this is not a good example of a translation, okay? Most of the time we're going to talk about translations, they're going to be on a coordinate plane, okay? So if we take a look, here's our pre-image, or our original image, and what they've done is they've slid the pre-image to form the new image, okay? What we need to know is that they stay congruent, which means they have the same shape and the same size, okay? And we know that. So these 2 shapes right here are congruent, these 2 figures are congruent, but we just slid it. Now, when we translate it, there's a certain way, they give us directions on how to slide the figure, okay? Let's take a look. It says graph triangle JKL with the vertices J being -3 and 4, K is 1 and 3, and L is -4 and 1. So the first thing you have to do, you're going to have to plot your figure. You're going to have to plot your points and draw your figure. So here's your original figure, this blue triangle, okay? Then it tells us, it wants us to translate 2 units to the right and 5 units down. Okay, so look at what we've got. We're going to take this original figure and we're going to go 2 to the right, 5 down. So what you do is you take each point. Let's start with J. We're going to go 2 to the right, 1, 2, and 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look where our new point is right here. Okay. Let's take K. 2 to the right, 1, 2, 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's our new point for K. And we have to do the same with L. Again, 2 to the right, 1, 2, and 5 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our new point. So, again, here's our pre-image, or our original image, and we translated it 2 to the right, 5 down, and here's our new image. Now, our new image, we don't say triangle JKL. Okay, if you look over here, we have little dashes after these. These are called primes. So J became J prime, K became K prime, and L is L prime. All right. So that's how you read that. Your new image is called the prime image. Let's try one here. Okay? Your got it problem. It says graph triangle ABC. Here are your vertices. Point A is 4, -3. Point B is 0 and 2. And C is 5 and 1. So the first thing you have to do is plot those points. So go ahead and plot those 3 points and draw your triangle. That's going to be your pre-image. Okay, once you have those 3 points plotted, you have to translate it, and it's going to tell you what to do to translate. Okay, you're going to take each point and you're going to go 4 to the left and 3 up. So from point A, you need to go 4 to the left and up 3. Then take point B, 4 to the left, 3 up, and same thing with C. So go ahead and try that. Okay, let's see how you did. Okay, here's our original image right here. Triangle ABC. And we had to take each one of those points and go 4 to the left, 3 up. So if we take point A, we're going to go 4 left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's our new point. Same thing with B. Here's our original B. We have to go 4 left, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3. 1, 2, 3. There's B prime. Here's our original C. So let's go 4 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's our new C prime. And here's your translated shape. Okay? So this is the first skill. They're going to put it on a coordinate plane, and they're going to tell you exactly how to move that figure. Okay? That's your first skill. Now the second skill is we're doing the same thing but without the graph. Okay? We're not plotting these on a graph and moving it. You're going to have to do it without it. Okay? And here's what we have to do. Let's take a look. Triangle XYZ has these 3 vertices. Okay? They want you to translate it 2 to the left and 1 up. Now, if we're moving left and right, we're dealing with the x-axis, right? Okay, so we're dealing with the x-coordinate. And if we're moving left this way, we're moving towards the negative side. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our x-coordinates, -1, 6, and 2, and we're going to subtract 2 off of these. So if you look down here in the chart, see how they took the original point, and we're looking at our x's. They take -1, and they're going to add a -2, or you can subtract -2 because we're going 2 to the left. So they've done that with every x value. Okay. Now if we're dealing up and down this way, we're dealing with the y-axis and your y-coordinates. So if we want to move 1 unit up, we're going to add 1 onto our y's. So do you see how we've taken our y's and we've added 1 each time? What that does, it gives us our new set of coordinates without actually having to graph it. 2 units to the left means we're going to add, or we're going to subtract 2 off of our x's. Up means we're going to add 1 onto our y's. Okay, so let's try one together here. Let's look at your got it problem. Okay. Quadrilateral ABCD has the vertices A, which is 0, 0, point B is 2 and 0, point C is 3 and 4, and point D is 0 and 4. Okay, find the vertices of the quadrilateral A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime after a translation of 4 units to the right, 2 units down. Okay, now think about this. 4 units to the right, so we're going to go this way. That's positive on the x-axis. 2 units down is negative on the y-axis. So that when you're doing this, here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to write out all your coordinates. Okay? So take what they give you up here and let's rewrite them. So pause the video and do that right now. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take those and we're going to do what we need to do with our translation. Okay? For example, let's take a look. Here are my A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime. Oops, I forgot to put the... There we go. Here's our x values, 0, 2, 3, and 0. Now, we're dealing with x's, so we're going left and right. 4 units to the right, we're going to add 4. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my x values, and I'm going to add 4 to them. Okay, because we're going 4 units to the right. That's a positive. Now let's look at our y values. Look at our y values right here. 0, 0, 4, and 4. I'm going to take our y values. There are our y values. And we're going to go 2 units down. Since we're heading down, that's negative. So I'm going to subtract 2. Okay, off of our y's. Okay, so do you see that? The hardest part is figuring out if we have to add or subtract. Okay, here, these are because of 4 units to the right. These minus 2's right here are because we're going 2 units down. Okay, so then just go ahead and add. 0 plus 4 is 4. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Here are our final answers. Okay, so your new points, A prime should be 4, negative 2. B prime should be 6, negative 2. C prime is 7 and 2. And D prime is 4 and 2. Okay, now we're going to work backwards from what we just did. Okay, they're going to give us 2 figures, and one has already been translated. And what they want to know is use translation notation to describe the translation from point A to point B. Okay, so if we take a look here, point A is at 3 and 3. Point B, the new point, is at 2 and 1. So what they want to know is what did you have to do to the x, right here, 3, to get to 2, the new x. So from going from 3 to 2, what we had to do was, if you look right here, we had to subtract 1. Okay, do you see this right here? We went from 3 to 2, so we had to take our x value and we had to subtract 1. Then if we look at our y's, we went from 3 to 1. Well, what did we have to do? We had to subtract 2. So what we did was we went 1 unit to the left and 2 units down. Okay? All you have to do is compare the 2 points, your old point, your original point, your pre-image point, and your new point. Okay? Let's look at your got it problem. Okay, we're going to use this figure right here. And it says if point A, our pre-image, was at 1 and 5. So let's plot that point right here, 1 and 5. So here's over 1, up 5. There's our new point. They want to know what was the translation, what did we have to do to go from this point down to our new point, B. Okay, so let's do this. Let's write out our points. We went from 1, 5 to point B, which is 2 and 1. So what did we have to do to go from 1 to 2? Well, we had to add 1, right? So if we take this, what we're doing is we're adding 1. Now let's look at our y's. We went from 5 to 1. Well, how did we get from 5 to 1? We have to subtract 4. Okay, so this is how they want you to write it. Take your x value, and we have to add 1 to it. Take your y value, right here, and we have to subtract 4. This is your notation right here. Okay? We'll practice more of this in class. So what I need for you guys to do right now, will you try your guided practice problems, and we will go over it in class tomorrow. Okay?